Hello my friends, my name is Tim Johnson. I've called this short video Relapse Reminders, in which I just want to give a few tips from my own experiences as someone who was a serial relapser, some behaviours and some things to watch out for. Because in my experience, I've often found that the relapse has often happened weeks, sometimes a month or so before the actual taking of a drink or a drug. The behaviours, your behaviours have changed unconsciously, if you like. It's something that sort of slips in without you noticing. But as you become more self-aware, you can see these things happening and a few things to watch out for along the way. And also let me say to you that you should never give up. And you should never feel ashamed of a relapse, because that's a very difficult thing, because particularly if you've had a long period of sobriety and you've been with your family and your friends and you feel as though you've let everyone down, you feel ashamed, you feel weak sometimes, and you feel hopeless and helpless. And that's totally natural. Those feelings will come, but they will pass as well. Because the way you have to look at a relapse, no, it isn't pleasant. For me, I can't afford to have another one, because I've reached the stage where, I've surrendered, and I know that if I have another one, I'm dead, basically, because of where the last one took me to. I bet some of you out there are perhaps early in the sobriety process, if you like, and it keeps happening. Please don't get discouraged, because it's taken up to 30, I hope it doesn't take as long for you, for God's sake, but it's taken many, many tries for me to find a formula, if you like, that works for me. And I've finally found a peace and a happiness that I never really found before, if I'm honest, which is probably why I kept reverting back to old behaviours. Please don't be discouraged. Never give up, because one day it will stick. It will happen for you. The sort of the magic formula, you'll find your own, and you'll find that peace and freedom, because it is freedom that you're looking for. I mean, I opened my eyes this morning and gave thanks, like I always do, just for being alive, basically, because I really shouldn't be, if I'm honest. And what a joy it was not to wake up with a feeling of terror, shaking, sweating, vomiting, scratching around trying to find some alcohol or a drug to get rid of the withdrawal, just enough for me to get out and get some more, shut in a dark room, isolating, not talking to anybody, in a sense, just waiting to die. And that's the choice. That's where it took me, life or death. And it is life or death. That's the choice sometimes you have to make. Not all of you out there. It depends where you're at with your addictions or alcoholism. But for me, it was a choice between life or death. And the odds of us being here are 400 trillion to 1. Those odds of you existing, 400 trillion to 1. And you have to look at that and think, well, what a privilege that life is. And I wanted it to carry on. I've got my grandchildren, I've got my family who I love dearly. And I've got life now and freedom, and it was worth every second of the struggle just to find this feeling I've got now. And you'll find it as well. If I can do it, you can do it, definitely. But some things to watch out for relapse if you're sober. Doesn't matter if you're newly sober or you've been sober a lot of years. Doesn't matter. I mean, I met someone the other day who'd been sober for 35 years and taken a drink and nearly died. He took one drink because he thought it would be different. And he thought after 35 years he could handle it. But let me tell you, if you're an addict or an alcoholic, truly, that one drink will lead to destruction, chaos, unmanageability. It's inevitable, because that's what addiction alcoholism is. So things to watch out for. There's the old adage, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, to start with. And those feelings, and it's really important to watch out for those feelings. Cravings of any sort can be confused with hunger or thirst. And it's important to recognise the difference, because, you know, sometimes if you have cravings or it's and you're not eating properly, it's best to get a good meal down your drink, you know, plenty of fluid, and those cravings will just seem to melt away. I mean, that works for me. Anger and resentment is a massive issue, you know, because anger drives most addicts and alcoholics back to drink. Unresolved anger. It's like it's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die, which I've said before. You know, it's not worth it. Those little niggles, that little anger, you need to deal with straight away and not hold resentments or grudges. So watch your anger, watch things that nibble away at you, forgive and let go, because you're only harming yourself. You're not harming that other person. You know, it's ridiculous and stupid. So you have to, and it's really difficult, I know that, because sometimes these grudges and these resentments can be harboured for many years, but you have to let them go. You have to realise it's your responsibility, your sobriety, no one else's. It's about your choices, you know, and how you react to things that happen around you. And once you recognise that, then you can start to watch your anger and forgive and just let it go and let go of control, because that's really important. Lonely. You've got to watch loneliness. You've got to watch isolating. For me, I'm in a fellowship, and whatever you're in is fine, whatever works for you. Now, whether that be groups online but let me tell you now that the best thing I ever did was connecting and sharing my feelings with people who understood and had the same sort of mentality and brain as me, because I knew then I wasn't alone. I knew then that, you know, I had people who were watching my back, and I could unload those feelings on whenever I wanted to. If I move away from that and I start to isolate again and be on my own again and not talk to people and not connect with people in my fellowship, and for you it might be groups, it might be family, friends, professionals, whoever it is, doesn't matter. But if you start to isolate and that loneliness creeps in, that isolation creeps in, that's dangerous. Loneliness is one of the number one causes of depression and low mood, and it can drag you back into relapse. There's no doubt about that. Another massive one is tiredness, which is the final one: hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Not sleeping properly, not resting when you need to rest. You know, it's all right exercising, and which I do a lot of, and all the rest of it. But you've got to know when to rest your body. You've got to know when to get enough sleep. You've got to put down the phones and the iPads and all the rest of it at night time. And you've got to create time to rest, create time to sleep. You know, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to be okay. But to rest, it's okay to give yourself some time off and make time for yourself and soak in a hot bath and relax and go and get a good early night and sleep, and that'll protect your sobriety. But you have to watch out. You have to watch out for these little niggles. But the number one thing to watch out for is those behaviours around certainly anger and isolation and self-centeredness and ego, trying to control things when it's absolutely impossible to control things. You recognise these behaviours creeping back in, you become self-centered, you become egotistical, you become controlling, you become angry, you become isolated. And all these things are clues which you may not pick up a drink or a drug immediately, but they will 100% lead you down there. And anyway, all these videos, please subscribe, because it just helps one or two more people see them. Hopefully they'll help other people. Only from my own experiences, that things that have worked for me. And please don't be disheartened by relapsing. You have to just learn from it. You have to treat it as a lesson, because and there's no way we can succeed in life unless we fail first. You have to fail first sometimes, because it's the only way we ever learn. It's the only way we ever get stronger and pick ourselves back up again. The Chinese saying, like, fall down 7 times, get up 8 times. And that's the way it is with sobriety. You have to keep picking yourself up, keep learning a lesson if you do relapse, keep getting stronger, and keep connecting with people and talking to people who have the same brain and understanding that you have around things. Anyway, never give up, my friends. I hope that's been useful for you. Carpe Diem. Seize the day today. Much love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.